Friends, I am going to make the case today that being a mother has made me a better business owner. I'm going to share different ways that I believe that is true, and my hope is that you can take these things and apply them to your business, whether you have children, never want children, or plan to have children in the future, because these things are not things you have to have children to do, but they are byproducts of having children and choices that I have made within my business to run my business the way I want it and have the life that I want. So without further ado, let's dive in. If you happen to be new here, hello, welcome. I am Annie. This is an episode of Annie Off the Cuff, which is just an unscripted version of my normal YouTube content for business, fitness, life, programming, etc. On the business side of things, I help online health and fitness professionals build sustainable, data-backed businesses without selling their soul to vanity metrics, taking butt selfies, all of that good stuff. So today I am sharing how being a mom has made me a better business owner. Let's start off with some background first. I have some notes here because our parenting choices and style and the things that we want for our life totally affect the way that I am running my business and the changes that I have made within that. First off, Nate and I are both at home. So Nate is my husband, and he does not work. So I am the breadwinner. We have two babies that were born 13 months apart. And right now at the time of this video, they are 7 months and 20 months. So we are in the thick of it. To say it's been challenging is an understatement in terms of business. Now, I would not have it any other way. I would not choose any other path for us. The fact that Nate and I can both be home with our kids and only one of us has to be working, and at that, working very few hours a day, which is a choice that we will talk about, is pretty freaking insane. And it's very difficult to believe sometimes that we have ended up here. So let's start off with some things that I thought I wanted before we had our first baby, our son, which happened to be like 6 weeks after moving into and building this house. I thought that I was gonna wanna work 5 to 6 hours a day. That is not realistic. And I found that is also not what I want. It does not feel aligned or balanced, if you will. I debated doing daycare, I debated having a nanny, and my conclusion that I kind of came to was I actually want to spend a lot of time with my kids. I like my kids, I think they're fun. I like being a mom much more than I thought I was going to. So for some background, we weren't like a hard no on having kids, but we were definitely not a hard yes on having kids. It was more of a like, when and if it happens, we'll figure it out. But I never like saw myself as a mom. That was never something that I aspired to be. That was never something that I was longing for. Yet here we are. And I do like it and I do love it. And also I love my work. I definitely would not want to only do one or the other. On days that are more kid heavy, I'm like, good God, give me an outlet. On days that I do have to work 5 to 6, or I don't think I've worked 8 hours since having kids, 5 to 6 hours, I'm like, oh, man, I really miss my kids. Before we move on to kind of my dichotomy that I have found myself in many times, I do want to make clear, obviously Nate and I are very blessed for our situation. So I want to give you that context that I said earlier so that you can see the lens through which all of this is happening. I know that a lot of people have to go to work and take their kids to daycare, and they don't want to have to do that. I know that a lot of people choose to put their kids in daycare and they're really happy to do so. So it is not that any of this is what you should be doing. It's just what we've chosen through our experiences and finding out honestly what we wanted and what we thought we wanted and what we actually want. So for me, it became very clear that I did not want to work 6 hours a day and be away from my kids, or if I did, it needed to be on the tail end. So for instance, I am recording this after both kids are in bed. Now this is not the norm, but it is a choice that I will make if I need to get more work done, is to put it on the bookends of my day before or after the kids are up. That kind of leads me to this dichotomy that I have found myself in the online space with other either female breadwinners or just female entrepreneurs who work from home often, and it is seeing people with full-time nannies. I'll find myself in this headspace sometimes where I'm just like, God, that would be so nice. That would be so nice, because I want to work more than I am. I want to work more than I am because I like my work and I want things to progress faster than they can with me only working a few hours a day, but I also only want to work a few hours a day. So I don't actually want that. I just technically want to have my cake and eat it too, which is not possible. You are going to have to make sacrifices either way. If you are a working parent and have children and you want to spend time with your kids and you want to work, it's just a give and take. And I think the most important thing, if you have the privilege to do so, is finding the best balance of the give and take, where you feel like you're making the least amount of sacrifice, or the sacrifice that makes you feel best, I guess, in line with your values. This is my ideal day, is to get some sort of movement in and get a lift in. I get 4 lifts in per week, and that is my happy spot. That can be with or without kids. I prefer it without my kids, but also if I haven't been with the kids or they need to be with me so that, Nate can do something else, or I just have the kids during that time, I will take them with me into our garage gym and get a lift in. Another really convenient blessing that we have built for ourselves. So get a lift in and then have 3 hours of focused work. Now, I know you might hear that and be like, you work 3 hours a day? Yes, I do. But I used to work 8 to 12 hours a day, and looking back, I'm like, I did so much freaking busy work, just extra work that was still valuable, but it didn't move the needle. It wasn't essential. It wasn't necessary. I was just adding things to add things because I had the space to do so. Highly advise against doing that, whether or not you have kids, period. That's just, I thought I was practicing essentialism, and you will find that all of the ways that being a mom has made me a better business owner are rooted in essentialism, but like essentialism on steroids. 3-hour focused work block, and then other tasks during the day. So social media, like if I have little breaks here and there, or the kids are doing independent play, I will respond to DMs or get in my stories or whatever. Mostly social media is the only thing that's happening. Or if I need to respond to my assistant who needs something from me, those are things that happen throughout the day. But my focused work is a 3-hour work block. And honestly, after a 3-hour focused work block, my brain is freaking toast anyway, or I'm really hungry. That to me has been the best balance so far that I have found of getting in movement, having a 3-hour focused work block, and being with my kids after that, essentially. Saying that out loud, I'm like, that is insane that is my life. And that is so fucking cool. So just taking that in this moment. With that, like I said, I have that dichotomy. I have that brain drama of I do want to work more than that, but also I don't, because that means sacrificing time for my kids, and I don't want to do that. That's where I live constantly, okay? Consider that 3-hour work block that's the baseline. So that's to maintain things. I am likely not working on a big project, creating a course, filming a course, or like right now I am filming or batching YouTube content that requires me to work more than that 3-hour work block. If I'm doing any continuing education, any courses, anything like that, that is going to happen again in addition to that 3-hour work block. So consider that my baseline. Some seasons require more sacrifice than others. So that is all context for how being a mom has made me a better biz owner. Being a parent is not required for these. This is just simply how being a parent has made me shift, or inspired me, encouraged me, challenged me, demanded me to shift in my business. Most of these are in light of Essentialism, which is a practice and a book by Greg McKeown. It is the book that I don't require, but highly, highly encourage all of my FitsPROs inside FitsPRO Foundation to read. Because as I said, I was practicing this for years before becoming a mom. I'm so happy that I did, because I had to take it to the next level when I became a mom and was running this business. Number 1 is to reevaluate the value that I put on my time. We had a hiccup in late 2023 with the market launch. So the launch of my new platform in the market. And in that season, that required me to sacrifice my normal bedtime routine time with my son, and just sacrifice time that I normally wouldn't be sacrificing. And it really helped me see I have really fucking firm boundaries about my time and how I use my time. And it gets me very heated when somebody challenges that, or in that situation, the situation demanded that I drop that boundary to get something done. And that was I am not doing this again. It just felt so out of alignment with what I wanted to be doing with my time. So number 1, it made me realize how I had reevaluated how I value my time. So I want, in all caps, in bold, I want undivided kid time, undivided husband, chill, wind down time at the end of the night after the kids are down. So I am sacrificing that right now, but I am trying to be done by 8 p.m. so that I can have an hour of that before I go to bed. Undivided work time. Those are pretty much the three things I need in my day and that I will fight tooth and nail for. So it has made me reevaluate how I value my time, and then obviously that leads to decisions that I make about my time. That's the filter that all of my decisions go through in my business. Number 2 is hell yeses only. And this is straight out of essentialism. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. So it has forced me to let go of things. And the 2 points I have here kind of go hand in hand. So forced me to let go and name what I'm not doing right now. In naming what I'm not doing right now, it allows me to then let that go, and it's for a different season. It's not for right now. It might even be for 2 years from now, and that's where we're gonna put it. And if things shift, okay. But if something is not a hell yes for this season, for the time that I have to work and or delegate right now, it's just not happening. And I don't have time to fuck about with that idea, quite frankly. And that leads to number 3, which is a heightened trust of my intuition and gut. Because I don't have time to mull over things like I used to, it's gotta be we have an idea or I'm talking something out with my assistant. If something is not in my gut, hell yes, that feels so good, let's do it, it's just a no. I don't have time to let things sit the way that I used to. I have time to take action. That's what it feels like. So really trusting my gut, trusting my intuition, which is something that I feel I was actually really amazing at in the beginning of business, and then kind of lost, honestly, in 21, 22, and really was determined to get that back in 2023 and 2024, which I feel has happened, and in large part because of having children. Again, not required, but lean into your gut, lean into your intuition. I've always been a fan of that, and say that that is a superpower as an entrepreneur. Number 4 is to ask for way more help, both on the personal side and the business side. Yes, this does often lead to a higher cost financially, but that just takes me back to those higher levels of essentialism and only saying hell yes to hell yeses and putting my money there and removing funds from anything that is not a hell yes right now. So yes, could be higher costs financially, but you're also making decisions in other areas to maybe decrease financial costs. I previously did it all in my business. Madeline, my assistant, has been my assistant since 2019, so not all by myself, but I like to do it all. I like to do all of my own production, my editing, my copywriting, my website, my email. I like to do it all. Mama can't do it all. Mama cannot do it all and run a successful business, let alone grow the business. So it has forced me to outsource more, to lean on those people who are in my corner from a business standpoint, to make more financial investments, and in personal life to ask for help from my husband and from my mom, who does help take care of the kids normally 2 days per week. So that just gives me a little bit more time to work, or for us to do other things that we just don't have time or capacity to do on our own. The fact there is kind of, I can ask for help or not get it done. Those are my options, realistically. It's gonna take me a lot longer or not happen, or I can ask for help, possibly invest for that help, and actually see it through. If it's a hell yes, then I'm willing to do that. If there's hesitation and it's not a hell yes, then obviously I don't feel as confident asking for help and making that sacrifice and decision. Number 5 is shift and evolve my gift. So previously I said I like to do it all, and I can. It is a gift. I can do it all, and I can do it pretty freaking well. And that's just a little toot toot, pat on the back. I've been told that by mentors. I've been told that by colleagues. That was, I will call, my previous gift, because life has shifted and I can no longer use that gift in that way. It was an advantage of mine in business. Other people might be like, well, you should be outsourcing that. Well, I'm particular as fuck, and that is where the gift has had to shift. So I did it myself, and I did it well, and I liked the way it was done because it was being done the exact way that I wanted it to be done. Now, in number 4, which was asking for help, I've had to shift my gift into I am particular as fuck. And I need to be sure that even when I'm outsourcing something, that I am not sacrificing the vision or the way that I want something done for my brand. Because yes, done is better than perfect, but also I have established a brand that people know, that they recognize. And if something doesn't match up or it's not usual, I do feel that that will be detrimental to my business. So that's my new gift. Be particular. I am still very much so learning this. But again, the goal is to not sacrifice the quality or the vision because I have outsourced something and asked for help. Number 6 kind of actually piggybacks off of, what number was it? Number 2, which was hell yes is only. Number 6 is that I think in years now instead of a year or months or weeks. So I still definitely work backwards from year or multiple year or project into what I am doing on a weekly and daily basis. Make no mistake, that is a definite essential since having kids. But what I used to be able to accomplish in say 12 weeks now takes 12 months. I'm not being dramatic. That is literally what I have found anecdotally from my own data, is that something that I used to be able to whip out in 12 weeks is likely going to take me 12 months. It's just math, right? That ratio makes sense for how much I was working before versus how many hours I'm working now. It definitely just takes longer for things to be done. And if I am outsourcing something, it's going to be me reviewing something over and over and over again until it is the way that I want it. So when I planned 2025 and 2026, I normally plan on a year block. And in looking at those 2 years, I was like, man, I really need to start planning in like 3 to 5 year chunks. Where do I want to be then? What is it going to realistically take in order to get there? Versus just a year just flies by since having kids. Time flies by, and yet you can't get as much done. It's like work takes slower, but time is going faster, which I suppose makes sense. Number 7 is I take breaks, like real breaks, where I don't travel and bring my computer and work, where I literally don't work. I don't look at Instagram. I don't do anything for work. I took my first week break July 1st through the 7th ever in my business in 2024. That was proposed by my assistant who we finished the Scale Strong launch, and I was like, what should I use the week of the 1st to the 7th through? And she was like, you could take a break. And I was like, huh, that's an idea. A break. I could take a break. We could take a break. We could be out of office. And we did. And she was like, give yourself permission to keep an open notes app and you can jot down ideas if you get them. Because I was like, well, I might have some ideas or like want to work on this or that. Like I can't really see myself like fully taking a break. At the 7-day mark, I was like, more of this, please. More of this. More breaks. More time off. I text her and I was like, hi, this needs to be like a quarterly, it's built into our structure, like this is a thing that needs to be happening. Highly suggest it if you're not currently taking breaks. And if you can't take a full week off, like plan, you take every other Monday off, every other Friday off, 1 Friday a month off. I get it. I get that if you are in the beginning thick of it, and you are hustling around the fucking clock, I get that you feel there is no way you could take a day off. I did it. I literally did it for years, okay? When I say I feel you, I like viscerally feel you, but that's a great way to burn out. So I do suggest taking a break if you do not currently take breaks in some way, shape, or form. Number 8, I have literally the least fucks to give. No fucks. This many. 0. Cero. None. Nada. I thought I didn't have fucks to give before. Now, as we said with number 1 of reevaluating how I value my time, how I value my energy, man, it is not that I don't make sacrifices or do things that I don't want to do, but when it comes to my mission with my business and creating the most helpful and enjoyable media content client experience, that is my prime focus. And if someone is coming in and disrupting that, be blocked and be blessed. No time. No time. No energy. Bye-bye. If you are not in my ecosystem, if you are not a prospect, if you are not a customer, potential customer, someone who is supporting the brand, bye. Like, absolutely not. I just can't express the lack of fucks. Let the trolls fuel the algorithm, absolutely, and I do that. But take a little bit of that if you're not a parent yet. Not being disrespectful to people at all, like you are still representing your brand, but just really standing firm in how you use your time and your energy and who you allow to pull at that, who doesn't have a right to pull at that. They're not in your circle. Don't let them. Okay. All of this stems from how my business can grow, sustain, and serve our life. That is what my business has always been about, and those who are intertwined with my business. So sacrifices will absolutely have to be made. Absolutely. There's no way around that, in my opinion. And accepting those and finding, like I said, the sacrifices that most align with your values within your season, within your resources. That's the journey, I guess. So hopefully this was insightful, helpful. If it was of value, or if you are a parent and an entrepreneur and a business owner and you have shifted and made changes, I would love to hear about your journey below. I think it helps so much to just hear other people talk about the way they're doing things, the shifts that they've made. I love it. I love hearing about other people's and other moms. That was a huge encouragement for me in becoming a mom and an entrepreneur, was seeing other women do it and not saying, oh, I can do it that way, but seeing them do it their way made me be like, oh, I get to choose. I can do this my way, which is, I think, the freaking best. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one.